Yeah, so we're continuing Unit 7. We learned the Rambam. Let's go on to the Rash Mishan. So Rash Mishan on this Mishnah adds the second half of the Braita. Bottom page 3. Bottom page 3. This time it is the normal printout, right? It's not a weird one, right? What? So far. Okay. You're not very trusting, are you? The number, right. So by me, they're centered. I don't know why that happened. Once again, I don't know why my numbers are centered. The Zoom people are seeing it in the center. So the Rash Mishan, כולם מתנידין דריש בתורת כהנים, דכתיב לא תבצור כדרך הבוצרים, מכאן אתה אומר, תאנה שהשביעית אין קוצצים אותה במוקצה. You know, קוצצים. Kotzim means what? Kotzim is chopping. Right? It's hard to explain that differently. Unlike the Rambam, right? You're like, well, what else could it be? Unlike the Rambam, I was talking about, right? The processing. Kula madnidin ma'tiata. V'kol mada asrin hacha haynu min ha'meshumar, aval min ha'mufkar shari ki orchei. So he says, as long as you open up your field to other people's use, do whatever you want. Go wild. Right? When do you need a shinui? If it's meshumal.
Two things either.
Right. He takes both, but either or. Now, is that a kula or a chumrah next to the Rambam? It's a big kula, right? Now, it's also frankly, it's also very strange. It's a very strange kula. Why? Because the pasuk says, Et in vein zirecha lo tivtzor. Right? So the way to read the pasuk according to the Rash Mishans would be, any grape that you guarded, right? Zirecha, right? Any grape that you've kept others from, is there a better word for guarded? I keep on thinking. You know what I'm saying? It's not shielded. It's not a better word. Looking for a better word. Come on. All right, this other. It's good enough for you guys. It's good enough for me. Right. So also preserved is not necessarily better than guarded. All right. So no, good. I don't feel as I think. Do what? It's not put aside. I'm talking about like fencing in. Is what I'm thinking of, right? Oh. So the question is how to understand the Rash Mishans. There are a few problems in the Rash Mishans, and then we're going to propose as a Kedar Kenyu. Okay, let's point out all the problems. So first of all, it's Mashma Bemet. So let's start with that. Sifra we saw on page number 1. It says Min hashamu ba'atz enta botzer the botzer min mufkar. So you're allowed to botzer min mufkar, right? The Rash Mishan seems to read the Sifra as follows. I jump back to the first page if you want to follow. He seems to read it like this. But if it's hefker, tivtzor however you want. Ata botzer as usual, business as usual. If it's mufkar, lo tivtzor kederech habotzrim. What? Which one? Which one is it? Like let's say the same thing we said. Neshamu asenta botzer. I'll caveat that and say you're not legamre. It's not that you really can't pick whatever you kept others away from. Those you just have to do b'shinui. That's all. Now you're saying, what's the logic in that? So first of all, is the pasuk, is the limud telling me, well, if you went against the Torah and I told you not to do it, so do it b'shinui. Bit weird, right? Maybe the Rosh Mishans means as follows. One, you look like you have a good answer. You have that face.
Going to go against the Torah, I'm not going to allow you to pick what you like. You can't pick your heart's content. You have to do it in the Shiur, maybe like the concept that it won't pick as much.
Right. Okay. Yafe. I want to propose something slightly different. That similar idea, but it's usually when we say so here there's an isur to pick. What are you not allowed to pick? Only in vein zirecha, right? The only grapes you're not allowed to pick are the grapes that you were minazir people from, right? You're mazir people from, right? From those grapes, right? Better than guarding, right? Now, so I say, okay, what if I pick them b'shinui? What about that? Normally, what would the answer be, that question? Right? You're allowed to write on Shabbos. Okay, what about if I write b'shinui? What about that? Normal answer would be Isur midrabanan, meaning you're right. Technically, it's not a melacha, but I won't. Right? I being chazal. No, I won't. Right? Chazal won't allow you. Right? Technically, you're right. The doraita, you're right. The b'shinui, fine. But I won't let it, right? I say I don't allow that, right? I Chazal say, yeah, but midrabanan will be asur. Maybe here he's saying midoraita, anything that was guarded is asur, is off. You're not to pick. As long as you open it out to everyone, then you can pick freely. If you didn't, you're not to pick. So says the Torah. Okay, what about b'shinui? Chazal aren't going to impose an isur there. That's all. Whatever it says here, and you'll note the lashon in the sifra is a diuk that I'm not sure how much I like it. I keep on going back and forth on this, but so here is like this: freely, as you will. Okay, so all lotiv talks about, it says lotiv. What is lotiv referring to? Only to Hashem Baretz, right? Because we said already, so when it says lotiv, it's referring to the shamur. Lotiv kederech habotzrim. Mikan amru, who said? Who's Mikan amru? Chazal told me, Torah says you're absolutely not allowed to pick fruit that was guarded. But I'll tell you, if you do it with your left hand, it's okay. I'm not going to impose, right? I'm not going to impose Isur in that case. In the end, I understand that Shmita is hard. In the end, I understand that people will have to pick this fruit somehow, even though it was guarded. So I'll give you a little tip. There won't be an Isur b'shinui drabanan that normally exists. And therefore, it's not based on some kind of limud doraita, right? Doraita limud, that betzira means betzira kedarka. It's like the rest of the Torah. Like I gave the example last week from Gitin. The katavla, you have to write with your proper hand, the right that you're used to writing with. If you write not with your right hand, if you write not with the right, that's not the right, some pure lefties, but not your stronger hand, the one that you don't control quite as well. So the get is pasul. It's not the right way to write. So here too, right? It's not considered tzira if you do it with these shinuim. We see the Rash Mishans. Skip over to the next page. Right, he says, what Avigal Yonatan said, the Mishan says, Muktzeh kli berzeh shechotech bo tenim kach shmo. Chava lashon sakin lashon cherev, meaning we're talking about using the right tool or the wrong tool. Right? I'm using the wrong tool. Now, that might also affect the quantity, but I think that's not the point. I think the point is we're not going to impose an isur on this case, on your choice of doing it b'shinui. Normally we would, in this case we won't. So Rosh Mishans, I'll say in one sentence, he says, the central limud of lotiv tzor, any grapes, any fruit that you're a mezir people from, you're not allowed to pick at all. But there's no isur on shinui.